How you doing, YouTube? This guy, Matt, Master Beer Reviews, back to yet another review. A little bit of a versus time, a little bit of steel cage match time in the form of, well, Hop Butcher for the World and More Brewing's steel cage match. I got these in the mail from Hop Butcher. I did an unboxing. I usually don't do unboxings of the brewery stuff, but I did my kind of walkthrough video, my kind of one-shot tour de force kind of thing, grand tour thing, and I started off with an unboxing of this, and I was like, these look like the same beer, steel cage, same name, same type of beer, the triple IPA, same hops, and this one says Galaxy and Citra, this one says Citra and Galaxy. I'm like, they must be the same beer. They just, you know, kind of split the amount that they produce. One of my Chicago connects, I forget who it was. Was it Beer and Burbs? Might have been him. Might have been Phil though. Might have been somebody else. Anyway, one of my Chicago viewers, watchers, followers, whatever you want to call them, was like, "Hey man, no, this one starts with Galaxy. This one starts with Citra, and that's how they lean. This one's a bit more of a Galaxy-based beer. This one's a bit more of a Citra-based beer." And then it clicked. Oh no shit, Sherlock! Fucking steel cage match. They took the same base beer, they hopped them with the same hops. They just kind of went a little bit different in each one. So what does that mean? We do a versus. That's what that fucking means. So yeah, as far as what it says on these cans, it says steel cage match, triple IPA brewed with honey, dry hopped with Galaxy and Citra. That would be this one over here. This is a Citra and Galaxy hopped triple IPA brewed with honey. So even they spell it the same differently, or they rearranged the words in it. And that's pretty much it. You know, pretty much the same thing across the board. This is your More Brewing. This is their kind of labeling and stuff, which I really dig. You know, really basic, but at the same time kind of smartly gray on black. Just kind of dig that kind of lettering. But you all know my love for the artwork on Hop Butcher, so I would give round one to this one, even though I really like this one. It's very, very close, very close. So let's see what these sucker have to offer. So yeah, you're talking about the Hop Butcher one in the light gray can is the one that is going to be more Citra based, and this one is going to be more Galaxy based per the information that I got. Is that true? Probably, but I'm pouring it like a dum-dum. There you go. See, that's what happens when you don't pour right. It's more because I didn't have the can tilted in the right way. So you get a gigantic head on one end because I'm a dum-dum, and on this end you get a proper pour. But I mean, other than that, they look almost exactly the same. I would say this one looks a little bit lighter over here, but I think because of how gigantic this head is, I think it's blocking out a little bit more light. But the head at the same time does look a little bit darker over here. Again, it's probably a density of the head thing going on as opposed to the actual beer. So they look essentially the same, except for that little bit of light difference. Let's see if moving them changes anything, because I have a little bit of lights going on down here. Yeah, this one still kind of comes off a little bit darker, both head-wise and body-wise. But like I said, that could be just attributed to the density and the size of the head. So I'm going to start over here with the More one. I usually work myself on my side, right to left, your left to right. But we'll work on this one while we, this head's going crazy over here. So let's get a nose on this one. I mean, first things first, it's triple IPA. So I'm getting a big, huge sweet component on it. It's just like orange. It's not orange creamsicle. It's not like orange jammy marmalade-y stuff. It's more like orange. There's a big orange component. I think we've gotten that far. But there's this added component of sweetness. It's like a confectionery thing, but doesn't get to that creamsicle portion of the show. And there's a soft greenness around it. It's definitely leaning kind of smoking weedy, but definitely like lower level weediness. So big orange component over here. Big orange component with that little bit of soft greediness and not much else. That sweetness is definitely leading the way. But yeah, she smells nice. Just a little bit. Oh, okay, there's that nice pop. I forgot to give her a swirl. There's that nice pop of greeniness in there now. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. There's that bigger green, and it's more pulling weed. So I'm gonna be like, oh, kind of like smoke weed. No, it's like pulling weed combined with a nice big pile of lawn clippings. Like you're going head first through a lawn with a bunch of weeds and you're mowing the shit out of it and you're riding behind that mower and it's blasting you in the face. That kind of graininess. So yeah, the sweetness is still the biggest part of the component over here, but yeah, you're definitely getting that kind of big, huge green, grassy, weedy, pulling weed, not smoking weed kind of graininess. So yeah. Okie doke. Let's see if we can get a nose on this one. Very similar. Except I'm getting this in the swirl, but I'm not really getting that big green portion of show. I'm getting that orange thing. Listen, I got the sniffles. Got a little bit of a sinus thing going on, so my nose isn't 100%. But there's a distinct difference between the two. This one I'm just not getting. I'm getting that rich orange thing over here. It's almost like this one smells like this one before I gave this one a proper swirl and actually opened it up. So yeah, soft green, a little bit of orange, probably a little bit more green and orange. So it's almost like everything's kind of muted in this one over here, a little bit smaller than this one. That green component, just, you have to give it that swirl, otherwise it doesn't come out. And it just pops. Whereas this one, and the head's gone far enough to a point where it actually opened up, so I don't think it's a matter of the head being that big. It's just a little bit more muted. So yeah, let's pop these back up there to get a look at the color. I still think this one's a little bit darker over here. Just a shade darker in the head and a shade darker in the actual beer itself. So let's start with this one, Hot Butcher. Let's see what's what. Cheers. Oh, it's sweet. It's definitely sweet. We expected that though. Triple IPA. Yeah, you're getting those same kind of grass vibes, those weedy, pulling weed, mowing lawn kind of grass vibes over here. I'm getting that kind of slightly minty, sweet kind of thing I get every now and then the way shops. What the fuck are shops? Hops can show every now and then, to where they come off that kind of, there's still a bitterness to this, but more times than not, it's like kind of that one treatment. A lot of some of those kind of, I think it's more like Connecticut-based breweries usually do, where they kind of drop out of bitterness, but they're leaving behind a lot of that green, almost piney-like hoppiness. But it comes off a little bit eucalyptus-y as opposed to actual mintiness. It's more eucalyptus, a little bit evaporative, a little bit medicinal, but in a good way. Big confectionery sweetness, really nice creamy mouthfeel. That orange is there. Big in fleshiness, big in pithiness, big in rindiness, but it's got a sweet kind of confectionery candied coating throughout it because of how big and sweet the beer is. And you get that nice kind of eucalyptus-y, minty, kind of evaporative, kind of green hoppiness to it. Really kind of fun, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's dive into the Moored Galaxy, literally and figuratively, the Moored Galaxy version. Okay. That's weird. So, very similar beers. Like, super similar. And there's really one, I'd call it one, big distinct difference between the two. This one smells like this one tastes, and this one tastes like this one smells. This had that big kind of green, weedy, going through the grass kind of component to me. It didn't have that eucalyptus thing I talked about over here in the taste, but it had that big green component with that nice kind of orange bit and pieces. Over here, it's more muted, had similar, but everything's kind of pushed down a bit, not nearly as big, and it probably showed a little bit more orange and that greeniness. Starkly different in the taste. Over here you had that big kind of green component to where it's showing that big kind of slightly evaporative, minty, kind of eucalyptus-y thing that I talk about every now and then over here, to whereas this one just kind of a bit muted in that area, showing off a little bit of that, showing off a little bit of that orange. And that's it. Very weird. Put that nose and that taste, and you're good to go. They're still tasty beers. Listen, they're triple IPAs. Not my favorite IPAs in the world. They skew super sweet, so you have to really have a sweet tooth to really kind of get down with these in general. Let's go back to this one without touching that one for a bit. I'm really curious to see. I don't think it's I go to one first kind of thing. You think, oh, you're just tasting that because you drank this one first, and you're only smelling it because you smelled this one first. Don't think that's the case. Yeah, because it's still there in the nose. But when I taste it, it has that sweetness. It's a little bit of orange vibe, a little bit of that creamsicle vibe, and a little bit of that kind of fresh cut grass. You can let this thing over here. Really subtle hints of the same thing on the nose and the taste. You're just getting it in the taste. This is really cool. If they plan this, it's infinitely cool. I don't think they did. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it's really weird because you have a base beer that is the tale of two cities, man. It's a tale of two halves. It's the same beer, the same treatment, the same everything as far as I understand, with different hop treatments. And this one smells exactly like this one tastes and vice versa. Super unique, super cool, super fun, and a nice little side by side. I think it's a cool kind of riff, especially when you see a lot of these breweries do kind of like collaboration stuff like that. It's usually like you do yours, and we'll do another one, and it'll be ours, and we'll fuck with shit. But to take the same base, split it up, do relatively the same hopping, just kind of different. This is my guess. Like the person told me, they said, oh, one's Citra leaning, one's Galaxy leaning. As far as how much hops they used, I think it goes beyond that. I think it goes beyond. It goes to timing. I don't think it's just hop differentials. I think it's like you do your thing with your hops, but let's say they went 60-40, 60-40 on Citra hops or Citra Galaxy Citra. But I think the timing, what this shows is that timing and placement and all those things make the beer quite a bit different, even though they're relatively similar. I think they're both fun. Like I said, if I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do the whole kind of steel cage match grading system thing, I'm not actually going to grade them, but on the nose, this wins by figure 4 leg lock, and this in the taste wins by, what's another thing? What's another, I'm not a wrestling guy. What's off the top? Let's go off the top rope with this one. We can do that. There you go. No, they're both fun beers. They're triple IPAs. They're not exactly my favorite styles of beer, but I think it's fun. I think it's cool. My affinity for Hop Butcher, the limited exposure I've had for more brewing, absolutely delicious stuff. So yeah, super fun, tasty beers. Hopefully you guys get these out there Chicago Landway, and yeah, I'd like to see more of this from breweries, kind of doing the same batch and each brewery fucking with it, because that would be a cool thing instead of just kind of tit for tat kind of collab stuff. Anyway, let's talk about it. Are these some of the better triple IPAs I've had? Still, with me saying, oh, triple IPAs aren't my favorite, it's definitely worthy of being in the conversation. There's triple IPAs I've had that really done me better. Comes to mind the New Equilibrium, you know what I mean? Straight out of the laboratory, and some of the stuff you see coming out of like Other Half has been really kind of right in my wheelhouse, but this is pretty damn good stuff. Value availability, no idea. I don't know if Moore does the releases at the brewery. I assume. I know Hop Butcher does distribution. I'm guessing. Actually, somebody told me. I think these are $19 a 4-pack for a triple IPA. That's actually probably just $1 less than market value. So take that for what it's worth. I still think it's expensive, but such is such. And leave you with, if you like what we like these. If you like big, huge triple IPA, sure, they're not your kind of lactose-laden craziness, but at the same time, they give you a little bit of those lactose vibes. I assume a bunch of oats in there. And it's a cool side-by-side to do. I implore you, if you have these, to actually drink them side-by-side. Because that change from nose to taste to nose, from either one, is probably the funnest part of this whole review. So, if you can definitely do that, I implore you. There you go. Another review in the books. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. If you want to check me out doing podcasting stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Chicago hazy right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.